Welcome back to Sports Forensics and Picks. I'm Matt Corbett. This is John Patterson, and today we are discussing the update for NFL Week 5. Earlier in the week, we came out with our soft video here for the opening lines, and today we're going to go back through the games and check out some line movement and make our final picks. So the NFL week kicks off, well, it kicked off on Thursday night, of course, but the Sunday slate kicks off with an international game, the Vikings and the Browns. The Minnesota Vikings are a road favorite. This game was minus 4.5 for the Vikings on when we did our original video on Tuesday. It is now 3.5. Vikings minus 3.5. Vikings are banged up. I like the Browns actually to cover that spread, maybe even win this game outright.
I like that. I'll take the Browns plus the points as well.
Awesome. Excellent. We agree on the first one. I like that. Let's get right into the second game. The Denver Broncos at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles were a 3.5-point favorite. They have moved up to a 4.5-point favorite. Very interesting. What's your take on this one, John?
Like I said before, it's like Philadelphia. Don't be the guy that tries to predict their first loss every week. That ends up being a long parlay of losses. But the fact that the money is going in their direction a little bit tells me that they're probably going to win the game. I expect them to win the game, but who knows what kind of shenanigans can go on with those points. I mean, they're usually pretty exciting finishes so far in these Philadelphia games, so that would lend itself to the points possibly being a play. But at that, it makes it a coin flip, which means that's not the kind of a bet you would want to make. Especially something you wouldn't want to put on any kind of parlay, because that's just got a volatility index that'll sink that ticket in no time.
Yeah, I do feel like anything can happen in that game. I'm on the Broncos with the points in this one. I don't know if they'll win the game outright, but I think they have the chance to cover that, especially now that it's moved to 4.5.
They definitely do. But if anything, the only real pick that you could advise in this, if at all, is Philadelphia in some kind of survivor pool. But I have very little interest in this game.
Heard. Well, it is a good game. It should be an interesting one. The Raiders and the Colts. The Raiders on the road, Indianapolis. They were a 6.5-point underdog. This line has moved up to 7. Indy is a 7-point favorite at home. We have a pretty good feeling about who Indianapolis is, and the Raiders haven't necessarily shown us everything they probably will at some point. So I know you were pretty interested in the Raiders earlier in the week, John. Has anything changed for you?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, I mean, 7 points. It's hard to say 7's a lot against the Raiders, but it is. I'm completely withdrawing anything on the Raiders other than a possible upset. But I don't trust them getting 7 points. But when you look at the math, getting plus 250 or up to be a 7-point dog on the money line, okay, that could be good math. In fact, it is good math, but I still think the Colts are a better team. So I wouldn't really advise anything. The odds aren't enough for me to want to take either team. So it's a good line. It's a good line, but too many things can happen. This is the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could easily see the Colts, winning by, 5 or 6, 4 to 6 points. I think that's a very possible outcome to this one. Both teams are fairly healthy, other than Brock Bowers banged up, questionable right now, but he will most likely play. I'm gonna take the Raiders laying those or taking those points. So, I'm not betting this game, but here in this channel, we pick every game, or at least I pick every game, and that's one thing that I'm proud of. So we'll see what happens. But
if I had to, it would just to say, if I had to make if you're saying against the spread one way or another, you have to, I would say lay the points.
Heard and agreed, but I'm on the Raiders. So you got the Giants and the Saints. The Giants at the Saints. The Saints were a 2.5-point favorite earlier in the week. They've moved down. They're a 1.5-point favorite at home. Right now I'm on the Giants. I think the Giants win this game, and let's get it done. I mean, Jackson Dart, like I said in the earlier video, hey, not a lot of passing yards for him, but I still like the Giants defense, and I still like Scattaboo, and no neighbors, but I think that's okay. Like you mentioned earlier as well, when we discussed it. And I still think the Saints are one of the worst teams in the NFL. So what's your take on this one?
You're right. Until they prove otherwise, we got to kind of go with what we feel. And I just think that, the Giants will kind of show that I think on both sides of the ball in the non-skill positions that they're just kind of, really kind of built to deal with, facing the NFC East teams like, Philadelphia and twice a season. And so I think that the lines on both sides and those non-skill spots are just stronger in general for New York. Kamara's banged up, so it's not like they really have any one weapon that they could lean on, and that's with a very, very young and experienced quarterback. And they haven't really shown that they have too much of a scheme. So yeah, I would take New York as well.
Cool. Love it. We're on the same page there. Next game, the Dallas Cowboys travel to MetLife Stadium. They are a road favorite, -1.5. I believe this game was -2.5 earlier in the week, so it has moved in the Jets' favor. Um, you know, I think these teams can be unpredictable. I mean, if there's any game where the Jets could actually get things cooking, it could be against that Dallas defense. But I'm on Dallas to win this game and cover that 1.5.
4.5.
1.5.
Okay. Um, Dallas gives up a lot of points. And just like last week, I said, you know what, if I have a play, I think it's just going to be the over in this one as it was with the Jets. And so I see them giving up a lot of points and taking a lot of deep strikes and moving the ball. So the only play I have here is it going over.
Could be a big game for Garrett Wilson. We'll see what happens. Houston Texans.
Garrett Wilson's been great. That dude is coming into his own. I think that he wasn't a good match with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is, he's gotten a lot slower and teams were kind of doubling up on Garrett Wilson. And so it was kind of hard to get him the ball. And I think there was a lot of pressure to get him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the kind of things that you either have a scheme where the parts work together to become better, or you have a scheme where, high cost or diva or skilled guys they're trying to fit in to make a team better. I think that that can work against itself a lot of times, and so that's how I saw Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers. But he's getting a nice little vibe going right now, and so I think that his best days are ahead of him, and very, very soon, if not this weekend.
Heard. The Houston Texans are at the Ravens. The Texans are, a favorite on the road here. I believe it was -2.5. Now it's -1.5. But Lamar was confirmed out, of course, which you knew that was going to happen earlier in the week. You told us that. So that has been confirmed. I believe we're getting Cooper Rush this week. We're also getting a bad Ravens defense that is banged up across the board. I'm on the Texans to win on the road and cover that 1.5.
Yeah, no, in fact, the Texans are really kind of all around my play of the week. They're the best game because injured or not, it's not like the Texans have looked good. And that's okay. Obviously, the outlier being the shutout that they pitched against the Titans, which meant nothing to anybody. But the fact that they're favored at Baltimore is really just kind of a slap in the face. And so, but for a reason. So the Texans will take care of business. They'll put themselves right back in the thick of things in their own division, and then later on we'll see this huge string of wins for Baltimore that comes up. So, but not this week. I think that my best pick of the week, since they're not technically an underdog, they have to be my pick of the week against the spread, and that's the Houston Texans.
Heard. I like it, John. This game was, I labeled this game as one of the big games of the week on our earlier video. And once you hear this, you're not going to be surprised why. Okay. We got the Miami Dolphins on the road at the Carolina Panthers. The Dolphins are a road favorite, -1.5 on the road. The Panthers are, a little bit better at home than they are on the road, of course, with that win against the Falcons. But I don't think we know what we're going to get from the Panthers week to week, and I don't think I will ever pick them again unless they're playing the Saints. So I think I'm on the Dolphins this week to cover that. I think the Dolphins have put up a fight, even without Tyreek Hill. Still think the better football team. I think no Chuba Hubbard this week for the Panthers as well. So yeah, I don't know. What's your take?
Well, I mean, I don't know if Rico Dowdle is necessarily a step down
He
from
should be a step
from
up.
Chuba Hubbard,
Yeah.
and so taking even the idea of Tyreek out of the scheme, that'll probably be able to let that defense zone up a little more or zone down a little more. Um, and they'll be able to single cover most anybody who isn't Waddle. So I think that their obvious number one choice is going to face double coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw the tight end Darren Waller come back and have a
Mm-hmm.
great game, but I don't expect that they're going to be able to count on him in the same way that they did Jonnu Smith last year,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm going to take Carolina. I'm gonna go with
Nice.
Rico Dowdle, but I think it's
Interesting.
going to be their passing game that gets it done. Let's see how that works.
Yeah, I mean Rico Dowdle was actually, I mean, I think he was over 1,000 yards last year for the Cowboys rushing. So I mean, he's no slouch, as far as an NFL running back. I mean, we'll see what happens. But Darren Waller on the other side of things, I mean, we have 3 catches for 2 touchdowns. That's exciting. Darren Waller, cool. But I mean, like you said, Jonnu Smith was fantastic. He's kind of bounced around a little bit. Now he's with the Steelers, but we're not going to go down that road yet. Um,
His best days with them are way ahead of him too.
I
So
hope so. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
this guy's a good football player, so I would like to see him become a very nice option for Aaron Rodgers moving forward this season. The Tennessee Titans are at the Arizona Cardinals. The Titans are a +7.5 on the road. Obviously, they lay a goose egg a week ago in Houston. It's one of the best defenses in the NFL, of course, but not being able to score any points is very alarming. On the other side of things, the Cardinals, I'm not high on the Cardinals. I haven't been. However, it's a lot of points. So right now, my pick is for the Titans to hang around and actually cover the 7.5. I like the Cardinals to win, the Titans to cover.
Wow. I think it's very unsafe to
Mm-hmm.
want to bet the Titans to do anything. So 7.5 at home. Yeah, basically they need to win by 2 scores, right? I don't believe that 8 points is considered one score. That's literally 2 scores because the odds aren't there that you're going to get a 2-point conversion. But all that aside, 7.5 for a team that really hasn't performed well at all. And that's a lot of points to lay against any team, even the worst team in the league who just got shut out last week. So
Yeah.
I will take the Cardinals to really just beat them up bad. I want to see how bad the Titans are, and I want to see how bad the Cardinals are. But I just think that they're 2 different levels of team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that, of course. I mean, but it's the NFL and anything can happen. The one thing that's interesting is like, when you're up by 2 touchdowns, let's say you're up 14 points with that new NFL, the new analytics that say go for 2, you could easily score, that 6 points and then go for 2 and not get it. And then the Cardinals could still cover that 7.5. So 7.5 is usually something to be a little weary about nowadays. It's not like, before, but we'll see what happens. The Tampa Bay
Well,
Buccaneers.
plus
Yeah.
hang on though. A couple quick points, because you're right, and they're really kind of social engineering a lot of these things. I mean, put it this way: I bet this year already, after not even 5 weeks, after 4 weeks, I bet we have more blocked field goals and extra points than we have in any season in the past, just to show how they're weaponizing that.
Wow.
And yeah, and also the difference in 7.5 to me and 6.5 would be the difference between me liking the Cardinals and not liking them. They're laying a higher number, therefore I like them more, and it's over a touchdown.
Yeah.
6.5 just under a touchdown. So in the psyche, that plays really, really, it weighs very heavily on Joe Better. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's why I like Arizona laying the points. I wouldn't like them if it were 6 or 6.5.
Heard. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3.5 at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are a good football team. I don't think we realized it, right off the beginning of the year. We've both taken them in spots this year. You hit against when they beat the Steelers. So I think the Seahawks are. I think they're still going to show us something. I know this is a tough game. The Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. I feel like it's so easy to take Baker and those points right now. I'm gonna go with Seattle -3.5 in this game.
Um, Godwin's back. I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's
Mike
gotten a
Evans is
little
out.
bit older. He's kind of those, short route, easy dump off kind of guys. He's not someone that really stretches the field at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they still don't have Evans back.
Right.
So
No
they're
Bucky
kind of
Irving this
leaning
week
on
either.
a rookie to not just stretch the field, but to run, the longer routes.
Agabuka.
And but so I think that Seattle definitely has the edge. We might even see Cup show up for the first time. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to ride. I'm going to ride Seattle as well. I think
Cool.
that they've been a lot less phased by the injury bug,
Mm-hmm.
and when you have kind of like strong teams on both sides of the ball, the game can get over really quick if one team is just can't hack it. And I think that Seattle's going to be a lot more prepared for this game than Tampa. However, you've got the X factor, which is Baker Mayfield. I don't
Absolutely.
think he's going to be able to do it himself in this one.
Yeah, no Bucky Irving either. And but on the flip side of things, the Seahawks are actually banged up in the secondary. Witherspoon's out and Julian Love out. And also Demarcus Lawrence, the weak side linebacker, going to be out of this game as well, according to ESPN. So, we'll see. But I think they have enough depth to sort of I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Baker Mayfield very capable of winning this game. There's no question there. So but I
Well,
do think
Matt,
Seattle
listen,
will win.
you mentioned you quoted ESPN. So
Mm-hmm. Oh,
anytime
but I'm
I
on the
take
depth chart,
anything
not the article.
ESPN says
Mm-hmm.
with a lick of salt
Yeah.
and a shot of tequila, because they will constantly try to give you reasons either to take one side or to not take the other side.
Yeah.
And
Well,
this is
and
very well
John,
chronicled on the show.
this isn't like an article though. This is just a depth chart. So,
Okay, good. Okay,
but yeah,
good.
yeah. But even
That's
if
why
it,
I said I'd be curious to see that.
yeah,
But
if they're saying that,
in either case, anything I see on ESPN, if it's just a depth chart thing, okay,
mhm,
that says something. So,
right.
but I think that they'll just add someone in there. That's one thing that team has is depth. So just because a starter's out doesn't mean that their backup wasn't just as good, if not better, just younger.
Good point. All right, next game. This game, I love this game. This is one of my favorite games of the week, and oh, dude, the Detroit
I'm glad
Lions,
you're excited.
the Detroit Lions at the Bengals of Cincinnati. The Lions on the road -10.5. I love the Lions. Oh, dude, I love the Lions in this game, and that's probably why I'm. But you know what? I'm taking them. Um, I'm probably going to bet this game. Um, but yeah, I mean, we make every pick here, and I love the offense. I love Detroit. Bengals just not good across the board. Defense is bad. Can't run the football. Offensive line is terrible. Backup quarterback Burrow out for probably the season. We don't know yet, I suppose. But yeah, I think it's. I mean, Bengals are home. Bengals are home. Give me the Lions. What do you think?
I think that a lot of people are going to have a
Thinking the same
hard
thing.
time wanting to bet the Bengals right now.
Yeah.
And since they're at home, this one can qualify as my money line dog of the week. I'm going to take the Bengals, not because they can compete. No, just because of the amount of money that's going to go on the opposite side of them. So I'm not afraid to take a shot here because I've got the odds on my side.
Mm-hmm.
If you only need to hit like 1 in 4 of these picks to still end up a net winner, this is the type of game where I could definitely see that happening. Having said that, apply home field advantage, and I'm basically saying that if the game were in Detroit, they'd be 18.5 or 18-point dogs. You don't see 18-point dogs cover a money line. You'll see up to 15 in the NFL, but never beyond that. And so, but either case, it's a 10.5-point line, and no matter what the optics are on the line, everyone just knows that Detroit is going to be a team that is the pick, and they'll be on so many parlays,
Right.
especially those
Money
teasers.
lines too.
Those teaser picks, they're
Oh
going to
yeah.
be probably six
Tease
and a
that down.
half points. So
Yep.
a lot of people be on those. Don't forget those parlay card type
Oh
picks.
yeah.
But I'm going to go with Cincinnati to upset and the points. They're strong. I think the points are strong because Cincinnati wants to show that they're more than Joe Burrow, and the NFL wants to show that as well. And so this will be a good opportunity for that to happen against a Lions team that I think that could turn it off or on on a whim, and it depends on what they want to do or what they're looking to do. And so this isn't a week where I think that Detroit's going to put up their 50.
Yeah, they don't need to probably, but hey, you never know what's going to happen. It's the NFL, man, and the Bengals certainly could show up. Jake Browning is not a bad football player by any means. I think he can get them to 20, 23 points and definitely hang around in this game. Like you said, I'm not sure if they can win the game money line, but I'm still on Detroit. I do think Detroit scores their points, high 30s, early 40s, and get it done. We'll see what happens.
Hey Matt, what's
Yeah,
the total on that game right now? What did that move to?
49 and a half right now. I don't know what
Okay.
it was when it started, but 49 and a half I'm showing right now is fairly
Okay. Well, that's strong. That to me says that the points and the over are strong as a money line, because
Mhm.
people who bet the over will be betting Detroit, and people who bet the under, there's a ton of space on that under.
Mhm.
Cincinnati's not good enough to be involved in a quote unquote 50-point total, and so I would like them. So everyone,
Yeah.
I will bet this just right now because it makes sense to me. I'll take the points and the over on a little side parlay, just for fun. Never more than the milk money, but yeah, we're gonna get that one done.
Well, I like it. We have some disagreement on this game, and that's okay. That's why we're here. And obviously, we don't agree on everything, and that's good because there's always some clarity in our picks. And that's what's so interesting about the spreads. I mean, it's so difficult to pick these. I mean, they're essentially 50-50 right now. With the favorite covering the spread. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But um, the Commanders on the road against the Chargers. So the Commanders are plus 2.5 on the road. I know this game was 3 points at some point. I don't know if it went up. It was a 3.5, but it was definitely three. It's down to 2.5. I know we get Jaden Daniels back for Washington, and I think you were on the Commanders earlier in the week. I don't remember, but I'm on the Chargers to cover the 2.5. That's what they want you to fucking do too. But Jane Daniels back, I think that's a carrot. So we'll see.
Yeah, and again, the Chargers just dropped a game, their first game, and that was out of conference,
Mm-hmm.
let alone out of their
Out of,
division.
out
So
of division for the first time.
they're 3-0 and undefeated in their division, and they're 0-1 outside of their division. So I'm not going to bet this at all. But let me just say a couple things for those who do. Um, the Chargers are a better team. Daniels is back, but two of the main wide receivers, including McLaurin, didn't even
Out.
travel with the team
Yeah.
out. And so they're going to be leaning on people like Deebo Samuel, who didn't have his first even limited practice until just yesterday, I believe, where he was a full participant, but with a heel injury. Let me tell you guys something about heel
Yes.
injuries. If you have a heel injury, it's usually the pad, and you cannot run on those. I mean, I spent 6 months out of beer league softball because I slid too hard into a brick base and it jammed my heel. It took me 6 months to be able to weight bear and sprint properly on that. So I don't think he's healthy either. Maybe he's going to be a decoy, but for what? A three-headed monster for a high school league.
Yeah.
They don't really have a running attack yet, and so where
Mhm.
Jaden Daniels isn't going to do it on his own. They're going to be all over him. He's not going to have that 2 point whatever seconds to get off a throw because he won't have anyone to throw it to. So
Right.
this does have the makings of a Charger blowout. Having said that, they're not even favored to win by a field goal at home. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to touch this, but to me, this could be ugly, or even uglier in a more disgusting political way.
Huh. I like that. All right. Sunday night football. The New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills were up to an 8.5 point favorite. I think it was even higher than that at one point, but it went down to 7.5. It is back 8.5. I'm showing right now. The Bills are going to be wearing their sweet little white freeze out jerseys or whatever they're called. That's exciting. But guess what? I'm on the Patriots plus the 8.5. I think the Bills win the game, but by 4 to 6 points.
I have to already rewind myself because I forgot how excited I was about this game early in the week. So we'll have to do another video of just the best picks one. But I'm going to have to. I love New England to win this game, not to cover, to win. Mm-hmm. I just like the line. Mm-hmm. It's at Buffalo. So we're basically saying that if it were in New England, that it would be a pick 'em almost, and at least between the threes. And the way Buffalo's played, there's no sane person either here or there who would think that this New England team can beat Buffalo. But that's the way the coin flip would be. It's going to be Buffalo or them. So we're just switching home field advantage around. I don't think 8.5 scares me at all. The fact that the money went down a little bit and then went up makes the points very, very strong. Mm-hmm. It's possible that a lot of that money, moving it back up, is just a money line play for insurance on Buffalo. I don't know. I can't tell. Mm-hmm. These things are so difficult. But 8 or 8.5 with these two teams, especially with one of them always winning against the other guy when they shouldn't. I mean, this is a conference matchup, and it's going to be a whole lot closer than anyone believes it's going to be. So the points are free. I don't think that Buffalo can cover that. But I'm going for the victory. I'm going for the money line upset.
Well, I like the pick, John. And I think, like you said, the Patriots are, I think they're better than advertised. And also the Bills, the defense is banged up, big time banged up. And I mean, sometimes we talk about teams that are good, like such as the Lions this week against the Bengals. Do they really need to show up? They really need to do everything, show everything they have. The Bills didn't really do that against the Dolphins or against the Saints, in back-to-back weeks. Now they're home again with the Pats. And, I don't know if this is the week that they show what they have. I don't think it's really in them right now. I think they're more in kind of like a survival mode until their defense, gets back to healthy. So yeah, I like the pick. I'm on the points for the Pats.
In fact, I might even I normally don't do the DFS thing. I will on if I find something that is interesting to me and then just kind of play it. But the people who make money on that, those are the ones that do max entries and stuff like that. And I'll never do that. I might do one pick like it's a lottery, but I could have what I think is the best lineup on there, and there's like 1,000 other people that have 5 of the same guys, and then one guy that actually did better, and then you don't even win. It's pretty difficult if you're doing just one pick. But Diggs going and playing in Baltimore makes May and Diggs and for me a lock hookup for the weekend. I think that Diggs is going to show up because he hasn't really. Despite growing each week with May, he doesn't have a touchdown or really a great game. But this will be the game where he steps up and says, "What up?"
Yeah, could see it happening. Yep. All right, let's get into the last game of the week, the Monday Night Football matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs, a road favorite, -3.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have looked good. They've been surprising, and that's without really Trevor Lawrence looking that good. So I don't know. It's an interesting game. I'm definitely on the Chiefs to cover this on the road. I think they just get it done. They find a way. I don't know. I mean, they looked. I don't know. They're looking good. I mean, after the first 2 weeks, they've come back strong, and I mean, I don't think you can fault them. So
this is still early in the year, and they're still the Chiefs. The fact that they're favored by 3.5 on the road that translates to at least 10 points at home. That's a great bettors line for KC. I think KC is going to take care of business.
They roll them. All right, sweet. Well, we're out of here.